Especially in his last few starts, he's left in line for the win and haven't been able to close the deal.
I was actually at his last start at Wrigley Field, and he came out with the lead, and obviously we know how that one ended. But he's thrown the ball very, very well so far, I think. I mean, 42 years old, he's still averaging just under 95 miles an hour on his fastball, throwing 50% four seams. The stuff's still there, and he's still the competitor that he's always been, Sergio.
He's extremely direct in his approach to pitching. He's limiting free passes. He's just attacking these hitters. And I think tonight the full bag of tricks will be on display.
He has got those 262 career wins still. He's got to get that to 263. I know that's what he's thinking, but he's got such a positive attitude about it. He has throughout the entire season. We're going to get to the changeup right now. This is brought to you by Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Take you inside the broadcast booth with Mike Krukow and Dwayne Kuiper. Kuip, we showed everybody the Giants lineup earlier. A lot of changes that Bob Melvin made to the lineup for Game 1 tonight. You likey? You not likey?
Well, I mean, you have to look at it this way, too, is all the people that are changing spots, but they're all guys that are in the lineup in just different areas. So, like, all of a sudden Chapman's not hitting ninth, he's hitting second instead of fourth. So, you know, look, you change things up. It's like changing managers. Maybe it's a new voice like they're doing in Colorado. Duh. So, yeah, you know, change things up, see what happens. And but the bottom line is the same people are playing.
Kruk, the Giants pitching has been fantastic all season. The bullpen especially, best bullpen in the league, even with a little bit of curiosity in the ninth inning with Ryan Walker having some recent struggles. What's your take of what's going on in the ninth with Ryan Walker and Camilo Doval throwing the ball so well?
Well, I think with Ryan Walker, I don't think his command has been as good as we've seen it be. I think there have been times that he'll make a good pitch with a slider, then he'll leave it out over the middle of the plate. So the consistency of his stuff, location-wise, can be improved. And I think it can be improved by just retooling and reworking his mechanics. Now, the problem with a closer, and you know, you guys have both closed games, you realize that if you don't get it done, you have to be perfect. You have to be perfect. And when you don't get it done, the pressure the next time you go out there ratchets up. So a lot of the pressure is self-inflicted. But you wouldn't be there having the job if you weren't that type of personality that handles it that way. The beautiful thing about the Giants bullpen, and the reason why they're the number one bullpen in baseball, is their depth. And fortunately, there are other guys out there who can handle a ninth inning. And it might be what Walker needs to get away from it for a couple of appearances and then come back to it. But they'll always know that he can close games. Right now, they consider him to be the starter, but there are other options.
Hey,
fellas.
Closer,
I should say.
Hey, fellas, this is for either one of you. Is this a statement-type series for either one of these teams facing a division rival?
Well, I mean, look, I looked at the numbers, and it's amazing that the National League West teams haven't played a lot of games against each other. So now those games are going to start to ramp up, and all of a sudden these games and these series, they do start to mean a lot more.
All right, Kruk, Kuip, great insight as always. That's a wrap on Giants pregame live. The Giants looking for their 25th win of the season tonight. We'll see you back here in a few minutes. Take it away.
All right, thanks, Laura. Well, look, the Giants came back 2-4. They take 2 out of 3 in Chicago, and that means that's a good start to the road trip, but then they didn't win again. So what happens now? You get back home, and it seems like the Giants are facing a lot of really good starters lately, and Merrill Kelly fits that category.
Merrill Kelly can pitch, and I mean, it's going to be this way. These three series are coming up in this homestand with the D-backs, the A's, and the Kansas City Royals. They have to play good baseball. They did not accomplish what they wanted to accomplish in Minnesota. They lost all 3 games, but they were in all 3 games. The one thing that set them back was defense. They probably had their worst week defensively of the entire season. This is a team that prides itself in defense. That'll be the key in this series against the Diamondbacks. They're a team that do not make mistakes. They do not beat themselves. So you have to clean up the defense, and you've got to be able to minimize walks and hit batsmen, and you just have to play the game cleanly, and that's going to be what determines this outcome.
All right, Giants are 3-3. They've just played 6 games against the National League West. Game 7 tonight. All right, stay tuned. We'll take you back to the NBC Sports Bay Area studios for more.
Davis baseball team, and there's his brother, Everardo.
Wrap towards the gap. And yes, lets it get by him. This is going to score Carroll. And having a hard time picking it up is Jung-Hoo Lee. And it's going to be a ground rule double. So you talk about hitting the ball hard. And the Giants catch a break on this because guess who's got to go back to third?
Oh, that's a big play. See a fastball right out over the plate above the belt, and this is exactly where he can hurt you. This ball took off on Yastrzemski. You don't see him misjudge balls very often. You see the ball gets lodged underneath the fence pad. Jung-Hoo Lee, he signals that, hey, so now Torey Lovullo is going to come out and want an explanation for this because he's not buying it.
Well, look, he's right.
So 2 infield singles now for Ramos.
Jung-Hoo Lee tried to bunt for a hit, got thrown out. He's 0 for 1. And a strike.
I didn't like that 2-out attempt on a bunt. He's got to swing the bat in that situation. He's an RBI guy.
Wilmer Flores on deck. 1-0, Arizona leading. Along the right field line, and Corbin Carroll plays it on a hop. He's thrown toward third, cut off by Perdomo. Ramos slides safely into third on a single by Lee.
It's a changeup that really loses his lower body, but keeps his hands back and manages to get enough wood on it to get it to right field. And that's the only way that he had a chance, is keeping those hands back, and sets up a 1-out first and third. No hesitation from Ramos. He's sniffing third base off the get-go. He'll challenge Carroll. He doesn't have a great arm.
So now the Giants RBI leader, Wilmer Flores, 1 out. This should be 2. There's 1. And they get the double play, and the Giants do not score. First scoring chance, though, and we go to the 5th. Corbin Carroll coming up.
Ramos, my goodness.
Here's Jung-Hoo Lee. Takes a strike. On the ground, Perdomo will have to go to first, and they just got him. All right, we'll head to the 9th.
We spoke about it earlier in the pregame, and what we saw during the game was that, and I told Sergio, that was probably the best location from a far side fastball that I've seen from any right-handed pitcher in a really long time. What he did to those right-handed batters was and this is why it's such an advantage having a few different types of movement, because you can throw that 4-seam that stays straight, then you can cut it a little bit at the same velocity, then you can sink it a little bit at the same velocity, and he was just Xing that outside corner to those right-handed batters. Then you'd have to the lefties, he would throw that 4-seam fastball right at the bottom of the zone. Then he'd throw that changeup right off of it. He had everything working with those 6 types of movement. And unfortunately, when a guy's doing that, all you can do is tip your cap if you're not able to scrounge a couple runs across the board early. Because when you're rolling and you get into that rhythm, it just kind of gets better and better as the night goes on, and that's what happened with Merrill Kelly today. Yeah,
a strong 7 innings for Merrill Kelly. The Giants did have some opportunities tonight, just not able to capitalize on those opportunities. They go 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. In game 1 tonight, they left 6 on base. So in the bottom of the 4th, the Giants had first and third, runners on first and third, 1 out, they can't score a run. Then you go to the bottom of the 7th, similar situation. Giants have runners on first and second, not able to push a run across. It's just, it felt very stagnant. You didn't get any momentum going with the offense, and I think you would have liked to see that with how well the offense has done at Oracle Park, how well this team overall has done at Oracle Park as we get a look at their lack of ability to put a run across the plate in the 7th inning as well.
This could have been such a different game if even one of those at-bats where that resulted in a double play or when you had runners at the corners like that, even if one of those at-bats would have wound up tying the game, the Giants would have used that momentum to do what they always do and pull ahead in that one-run game. But then Merrill Kelly he got a little bit nastier. You saw him right there to Luis Matos. He threw him that changeup for the strikeout. When he had to make big pitches, again, you don't like to say it from an opposing pitcher coming in, but you have to tip your cap as to how he was able to bear down. And then this right here, what a ridiculous
bad luck for Elliot Ramos.
It's just one of those things. The at-bat that Ramos put in that situation, you saw about 9 pitches in that at-bat. He just kept fouling off, and he's spitting on some really close pitches there thrown. But that catch that he made, it almost like he just kind of took a shot in the dark and, Sandlot, he just put the glove out there right and just kind of fell in there. But it was just kind of seemed to be everything in favor of the Diamondbacks today. The ball was bouncing their way. The Giants unable to get that key hit in those key situations. And that was one of the things we talked about in pregame, where in order to beat a fundamentally sound team like the Diamondbacks, you got to play fundamental baseball and you got to mix in some timely hitting. And today they just weren't able to get that hit outside of the cost hit, the single that he got with 2 outs. What was it, in the 5th inning?
Yeah, and that's I was actually just about to bring up the 2-out runners in scoring position situation for the Giants. They're one of the best teams in the majors in those scenarios, but the offense just stagnant right now. Yeah, and Sergio, we talked about on the pregame show as well. Bob Melvin made some tweaks to the lineup, just switching guys around in the order. He had Wilmer playing at first. It was Luis Matos who was DHing tonight. I really did like the construction of the lineup. I don't know how long he'll give this time to breathe. I think he had mentioned we'll see Lamont Wade Jr. back in the lineup, but it didn't work tonight.
It didn't work tonight, but I do like the mix-up in there. He was giving his lineup an opportunity to create some life for itself. He mixing and matching here and there. You got Yastrzemski leading off, who's been swinging a pretty decent bat lately, and he's been really quality leadoff hitter up to this point. And then you had Chapman, who's been working his walks, and he's been finding ways to get on base. So I like the construction there. We're trying to get those 2 guys who are finding ways to get on base ahead of a hot Elio Ramos and a Jung-Hoo Lee, who has been swinging a consistent bat all year long. I know he's in a little bit of a slower start, right, a little bit of a rough patch. But again, for Jung-Hoo, they're just pitching him differently, and it's time for him to make the adjustment there. But again, the construction of the lineup was pretty well put together. I do see him going out with a similar lineup tomorrow, unless up until they face like a lefty, where then he can probably switch some things up there too.
Yeah, and Bob Melvin, of course, changes the lineup significantly when there is a lefty starter on the mound. Let's get out to Oracle Park right now and listen in to Giants manager Bob Melvin.
Bob, I know we've asked this variation of a question multiple times, but to see Verlander keep you guys in the game as much as he did, another quality start, not get the win, just how frustrating for you is that as a manager?
Yeah, again, it's about winning and losing the game, but it just when he keeps pitching well, literally it was just 2 balls off Carroll's bat, and other than that, he pitched into the 7th inning, so he's given us quality starts. Last 4 times or so?
What made Kelly so difficult today, and what did you make of the quality of at-bats today?
Yeah, they're cutters, changeups, sinkers. He pitches you differently, it seems like, each time around. So, yeah, it was tough to string some stuff together against him. It comes down to one swing, really. The ball Ramos hits, gets over his head. It's a tie game. You hit it 111 or whatever to left field. So a little unlucky as far as that goes, but you have to give him credit. Guy made a great play out there, and when you're not scoring many runs, it comes down to the little things, and that was the play of the game.
If Verlander retired Perdomo, would you have given the opportunity to face the top of the lineup again, or would you?
Yeah, I was going to give him a base runner. I mean, not with Carroll coming up with a base runner on. He knew that going out there.
Elliot said yesterday that.
All right, that was Giants manager Bob Melvin. The Giants with their 18th loss of the season tonight. They're now 24-18, a 2-1 loss to the Diamondbacks. When we return, we're going to get you to the highlight zone. What makes the cut? Stick around.
이정우, 메이저리그를 뒤흔드는 바람의 손자가 또 한 번 진가를 입증했다. 1번 타자, 중견수로 선발 출전한 이정우는 4타수 1안타를 기록하며 팀 공격의 선봉장 역할을 완벽히 수행했다. 비록 타점이나 득점은 없었지만 그 존재감만으로도 경기장을 압도했다. 타율은 2할 8푼 5리. 숫자만으로 설명할 수 없는 이정우의 클래스는 날이 갈수록 깊이를 더해가고 있다. 이날 상대는 만만치 않은 투수진을 자랑하는 마이애미 말린스. 그러나 이정우는 주눅 들지 않고 특유의 빠른 배트 스피드와 정교한 컨택 능력으로 다시 한번 팬들의 환호를 끌어냈다. 특히 2회 초 첫 타석에서 만들어낸 강한 타구는 비록 내야수에게 잡혔지만 타구 속도와 타이밍 모두 완벽에 가까웠다. 5회 두 번째 타석에서는 중전 안타를 쳐내며 침묵을 깼고 이후 이어지는 타자들에게 찬스를 연결하는 중심축 역할을 했다. 이정우의 가치는 단순한 기록에 그치지 않는다. 그는 경기의 흐름을 읽는 지능적인 플레이로 팀에 안정감을 더하고 있다. 수비에서는 중견수로서 넓은 수비 범위와 정확한 송구로 상대의 추가 진루를 차단했고 파울 지역까지 집요하게 쫓아가는 투혼을 보여줬다. 그라운드 어디에서든 이정후가 있다는 사실만으로도 투수와 수비진은 심리적 안정을 얻는다. 이정후는 단순한 신인이 아니다. 그는 이미 한국에서 다진 실력을 바탕으로 메이저리그에서도 믿고 보는 타자로 자리매김하고 있다. 경기를 거듭할수록 적응 속도는 가속화되고 있으며 그의 스윙 하나하나에는 야구에 대한 깊은 이해와 철저한 준비가 녹아있다. 그라운드 위의 카리스마, 더그아웃 안의 겸손함, 팬들에게 다가가는 친근함까지 이정우는 명실상부한 한국 야구의 자존심이다. 이날 경기를 통해 이정우는 다시 한번 자신이 왜 메이저리그 스카우트들의 뜨거운 관심을 받았는지를 증명해냈다. 단순한 유망주가 아닌 팀에 없어서는 안 될 존재로 우뚝 선 것이다. 그는 이제 한국 야구를 넘어 세계 무대에서 역사를 써 내려가고 있다. 정우이라는 이름 석자는 이제 하나의 상징이다. 야구를 사랑하는 모든 팬들에게 전설의 시작을 알리는 신호탄이며 앞으로의 행보가 더욱 기대되는 이유다. 그의 다음 경기는 어떤 드라마를 써 내려갈까? 팬 여러분, 이정우의 이야기를 계속 함께 지켜봐 주시기 바랍니다. 다음 영상에서 다시 찾아뵙겠습니다.